Swadika, and thank you for joining us on Newsline. We are broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and on NBT World. It's Friday, December the 25th, and you're with me, Tra Chirakosan. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, the Prime Minister has laid the foundation stone for the new Royal Thai Army Conference Hall, which will begin construction in March of 2016 to accommodate both domestic and international conferences. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha was welcomed at the ceremony by Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Thai Army, General Thirachai Nakwanit. The ceremony mainly involved Brahmin rites to invoke the blessings of deities before laying the foundation stone. The building's exterior architectural style will be a mix between traditional Thai and Western architecture, while the interior will consist of 3 floors and a basement with a combined utility space of nearly 63,000 square meters. The building is designed as a multi-purpose hall able to accommodate a large number of users and several events at one time, such as domestic and international conferences, exhibitions, and state ceremonies. Construction will commence in March of 2016 with a budget of more than 2.2 billion baht. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has thanked the media for covering the government's one-year achievements in a constructive manner, saying he wanted to see Thailand change for the better with cooperation from all sides. Government's spokesman, Major General Sansern Kaew-Kamnod, said the Prime Minister would like to thank all media for placing importance on the government's announcement of the one-year achievements and covering the stories about the government's determination to solve the country's issues. General Prayut said he wanted all sides to move past their old conflicts and head towards the future together. This morning, the Ministers of Justice, Tourism and Sports and Culture will announce the achievements of their ministries. Ministers of Defense, Education, Energy and Social Development will take turns in the afternoon. Around 4 p.m., the Prime Minister will give a summary of the government's one-year works as well as important policies it has set out to achieve for all Thais. Foreign Minister Don Paramatwinai chaired a conference to discuss human trafficking and illegal, unreported, and unregulated or IUU fishing, as well as legal amendments to address these problems with representatives from the private sector, civil society, and related agencies. The conference gave all sectors a chance to exchange views, make suggestions, gain a better understanding of the issues, stay informed of developments, and draft laws. These legal amendments are aimed at enabling the prevention and suppression of human trafficking, improving the screening of victims, and enforcing the provisions of the Royal Act covering the fisheries industry.
Hopefully, this message will be get across to all. But please be assured that this Black Sheep saga or the episode is not just only what happened in Thailand. It's something which is commonplace everywhere. We are ready to offer the delegation which is forthcoming in the 3rd week of January to inspect the sites. All right.
The Foreign Minister said that Thailand has been focused on this issue since the country was handed a yellow card by the EU, but conceded that slave labor can still occur in Thai society. However, he expressed confidence that the issue will not affect the EU's overall assessment.
We try to work together with the provincial level and also in national level. When we have the case or when we have the bad situation, maybe we can come to talk together for to see the way serving in the future. I think it's good way and good action this time of Thai government.
Foreign Minister added that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will establish better mechanisms to tackle IUU fishing and human trafficking, while holding these conferences more frequently for government agencies, the private sector, and civil society to discuss these issues. The Thai Army Medical Department has organized a training course for Army medical staff to be well prepared for the control of disease outbreaks during the dry season. The department's Director General, Lieutenant General Trairod Krutdecho, observed the training course for Army medical staff in preparation for contagious diseases, which frequently develop in winter, such as colds and influenza, as well as diseases transmitted by mosquitoes, including dengue fever, malaria, and scrub typhus. More than 200 Army medical staffers from Army hospitals and other Army medical units throughout the country have attended the training course held at Pratmongkut Klao Hospital in Bangkok. The training covered methods of diagnosis and treatments, as well as guidelines on how to coordinate with other hospitals to keep any outbreaks under control. The Princess Kalayani Watana Institute of Music Youth Orchestra presents Rosinho on Cage, a children's opera concert based on Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Siddhinton's translation of Madeline Treherne's book of the same name. The performance is free of charge. Dr. Anothai Nitipun, the Vice President of the Princess Kalayani Watana Institute of Music, said the story about the Rosinho or Nightingales consists of children from various backgrounds. Though different in upbringings, they play together while constantly looking for new adventures and taking up new challenges that test their courage in solving problems and unexpected obstacles. The children's world seemed vastly different from the adults.
From this literature, Rosinho on Cage, which is translations by Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Siddhinton, the main concepts or the main philosophy behind these stories is about friendship. It's about understandings of people who are different. So from this point, I guess that would be the main message for the whole performance, in a way that if people understand about the difference and they can understand each other, and they can work together, they can be together, they can be friends together, that would help a lot of our society.
The performance will take place on Sunday, December 27th at 4 p.m. at Mahison Hall, SCB Park, Siam Commercial Bank at the head office. For more information and reservation, please contact the Princess Kalayani Watana Institute of Music at 02-447-8597 extension 112 or email reservation at pgvim.ac.th. And that's the end of today's edition of Time Moves Forward. Before we take a quick break, let's take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
ASEAN Festival. Enjoy the incredible fair with tons of activities at ASEAN Festival. Welcome to the ASEAN community, including exhibition celebrative events in ASEAN, ASEAN quiz and games, ASEAN citizens costume design, ASEAN music performances, ASEAN cooking show, and Siam ASEAN Lantern Festival. It will take place on December 23rd to 26th, 2015 at Siam Park City from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Let's welcome the era of the ASEAN community together.
let's shift our focus to the ASEAN community, which is due to commence in 6 days. Today we have the honor of speaking to Dr. Kirida Paupichit, the Research Director for the International Research and Advisory Service of the Thailand Development Research Institute, or TDRI. Dr. Kirida, Swadika, how are you this morning?
Hi, Swadika, good morning and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. First things first, you're an economist. Could you give us an overview of what the ASEAN Economic Community will look like once it is formed?
Sure. Well, first of all, the ASEAN Economic Community at the economic integration front, there are 5 main pillars, as most of us know, which is the integration in the trade of goods, integration in the trade of services investment, freer flows of labor. Also, there's an integration of capital markets, meaning like stock markets and bond markets across the 10 ASEAN countries. And there's also a freer investment of other services. Basically, at the end of this year, what you will see mostly will be on the integration in the trade of goods, which means that tariffs in all the 10 countries will be reduced to 0. Well, but in that case, the original 6 countries have already reduced their tariffs to 0 since 2010. So we have already been seeing the impacts, mainly positive impacts, of the reduction of import tariffs of those 6 countries since 2010, meaning that there are more trade of goods going on within ASEAN itself. In 2015, that's the time when the remaining 4 countries of ASEAN, which is Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, and Myanmar, will be reducing their tariffs to 0. But they actually are given a 3-year period to adjust, so they are actually given until 2018 before they will have to reduce most of their tariff lines down to 0. So what we have already seen them, the 4 countries reducing their import tariffs. So that will actually be conducive to greater trade among ourselves, meaning that, for example, Thailand will be able to export to CLMV, those 4 countries, without having to pay import tariffs on most of the goods that we export there. So I would see that the impact would be mostly on the trade in goods, at least for next year, because in the other 5 pillars that the other 4 pillars that I've mentioned, there are still barriers in each country to those freer flows. If you don't mind, can I give you an example?
Go ahead, please.
For example, in the integration of investment in the service sector, for example, it says that ASEAN member countries should be able to invest up to 70% in member countries, meaning that, for example, a logistics company in the Philippines should be able to hold up to 70% shares of a company in Thailand, right, in the logistics sector. But in reality, for example, in Thailand, we still have the Foreign Business Act that limits foreign shareholding at 49. So
right.
until we amend the act or add clauses to it to allow foreigners or foreign companies to hold up to or more than 49% shares, this will be difficult to take place. So and other countries also have such laws in their own country. So this will take a while more before these are resolved, and we will see greater freer investment in the service sector. So that's an example in the service sector. An example in the mobility of professionals.
What service sectors are we specifically talking about?
Oh, actually, it's all. We're supposed to, as the Economic Community Blueprint mentioned, by the end of 2015, all services sectors are supposed to be more open. So it could be, healthcare, it could be logistics, it could be telecom, except for banking, which will be open in 2020.
Right.
So most of the most of the services sector should have been open. But again, it's a negotiation process, and countries are still negotiating. So some are more open than others. For example, Singapore is quite open. They've always been quite open. But countries like Thailand or Philippines or Indonesia will still have to look back into the laws in their countries or regulations in their countries before they fully open up to the ASEAN Economic Community. And I'm talking about the investment in the services sector here. So that's one example that I see that will probably take a bit more time. The other example, go ahead.
Let's talk a little bit about things that you talked about how tariff would be reduced. That sounds like a lot of opportunities for the whole region in general. What about some things that Thailand might stand to lose from this kind of integration?
Well, what Thailand stands to lose is actually, of course, in any integration or in any trade, those who are not ready or who are weak, especially in sectors that we're not very good at, will probably see more competition. And again, I'm saying this in the case that if there's a really opening up in the ASEAN Economic Community, and those are sectors which will face greater competition from abroad, and they will probably have to rethink about moving to other sectors or doing something different, which they're better at, right? So in any trade integration, that's usually the case where for example, Thailand is quite strong in the hotel industry, right? If the ASEAN Economic Community happens, and this is again under services investment, we would probably be able to expand our hotels into other countries in ASEAN. Well, other countries in ASEAN might be better in the logistics, services, and they could expand into Thailand. So there are, sectors that stand to lose, but of course there are sectors that stand to gain as well. And for the public as a whole, usually in any economic integration, the public usually gains more because they get better services.
That's great.
Given the fact that
That's great.
competitive companies are being now operating in their countries.
So going forward, what kind of suggestions would you have for these businesses in Thailand with the AEC coming up?
Yeah, so for companies that are competitive and they're in industries that they're competitive, let's say the hotel industry that I mentioned, or in other industries that they are more competitive than others. I think it would be a good time for them to expand into other ASEAN countries. So that would be one of the things that they could seek opportunities in. But of course, again, for companies that are weak in their respective sectors because they've been protected for a long time or whatever reasons are, of course they would have to quickly adjust. As I mentioned, by 2015, nothing will probably change much because negotiations are still going on, especially in the services sector or in the labor mobility, front. So they would have to quickly adjust or either move into other sectors or industries that Thailand is more competitive in. So that is, I think, the things that we should be adjusting. And I just want to leave by saying that one of the ways that we could actually also improve, or boost our competitiveness is by taking in more talented professionals from ASEAN, because that's what the labor mobility pillar says, that we could now be hiring very good doctors or nurses from the Philippines or teachers from Singapore. But that's an opportunity for us. But at the moment, we're still quite closed in that area as well. And this is not common. This is not uncommon because other countries also do that. But I think this is another area where it's an opportunity for us. And if we don't do it, we'll probably we'll be losing out to countries that are more open to talent.
So it does sound like we do have a lot of upcoming opportunities. And thank you so much for all the insight and information today. Thank you so much, Dr. Kirida.
You're very welcome.
And that was Dr. Kirida, the economist from TDRI, giving us an insight on the upcoming formation of the AEC. On now to other news. The Public Relations Department, or PRD, in cooperation with Siam Park City, jointly organized the ASEAN Festival, welcomed the ASEAN community from December 23rd until the 26th at Siam Park City, Bangkok. The event aims to enhance awareness and understanding of the diversity and uniqueness of cultures in the ASEAN region and to celebrate the upcoming integration of Thailand and other ASEAN countries into the ASEAN community and the end of 2015. Second Secretary of the Embassy of Malaysia and Thailand, Johan Ikram Ahmad Rusli, gave insight into possible cooperation between Thailand and Malaysia in the ASEAN era.
Well, for Malaysia as the ASEAN chair for this year, 2015, we are very happy for the establishment of the ASEAN Economic Community by 31st December 2015. And of course, there are a lot of things that have been achieved for the past year during our chairmanship, since we have successfully hosted the 26th and 27th ASEAN Summit in Kuala Lumpur and Langkawi. And of course, we have laid out the vision post 2015 vision for ASEAN for the next decade. And in the post vision, we laid out a lot of areas for cooperation within ASEAN to be further strengthened. As for Malaysia in specific, we could offer our expertise in terms of the financial market. The Islamic finance and the capacity building, and of course Malaysia being geographically located could be considered in the center of ASEAN. We offer the connectivity for the ASEAN. So yeah.
Minister attached to the Prime Minister's office, Mom Luang Panada Diskun, who presided over the opening ceremony, emphasized that it is important for Thais to learn more about the diversity of cultures of ASEAN member states.
General Prayut wishes to remind the public, especially our Thai children, to remember 48 years ago when ASEAN was founded. And today, with the presence of Her Excellency the Ambassador from the Philippines, and Honorable Representative from the Malaysian Ambassador joining us here at Siam Park City, we wishes to thank you very much for joining us for this very special activity, and we would like to see the Thai public to learn a lot more about ASEAN understanding.
And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Just simply type in NNT or check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. We're going to say goodbye now with elephants dressed in Santa Claus costumes handing out presents to children in Ayutthaya. I'm Tra Tirakasan. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Swadee.
What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.